We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world. We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Capwolf and the Howling Commandos Issue 1. It's a 2023 miniseries from Marvel Comics, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Carlos Magno, colored by Espen Grundet-Jern, letters by VC's Travis Lanham, cover by Ryan Brown. Assistant editor was Caitlin Linsvet, edited by Alana Smith, editor-in-chief CB Cebulski. I actually do like that cover, it's pretty cool, and it does relate to what's going on in the book, which for Marvel is almost unheard of these days. So Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos are trying to stop some Nazis, and a tank rolls up, and while they're trying to stop that, unfortunately Fury gets injured pretty severely. Thankfully Captain America drops in to save the day, and he destroys a tank single-handedly, but the Howling Commandos still think he's a joke, even though he did this right in front of them. Now Cap has to take control of the Howling Commandos and lead them on a mission to go to a place called the Wolf's Lair. There is some super secret project that the Nazis are defending very, very heavily, but nobody knows what it is. So Cap's leading them on a mission, but the Commandos don't want to listen to him, and Dum Dum certainly doesn't want to listen to him. So there is a little bit of discord within the group, and there appears to be this sketchy looking witch lady who is going to cause all sorts of problems, but then they're attacked by werewolves. And unfortunately, I think you know where that's gonna lead. I get what they're trying to go for here, and I think overall the story is pretty fun. There's a few minor things that annoyed me, like the fact that Cap hadn't worked with the Howling Commandos till near the end of the war. That doesn't sound right, because there's been several adventures between Cap and the Howling Commandos set in World War II. Unfortunately, that seems to have been glossed over heavily by a lack of research on somebody's part. But they're going for some sort of tension thing, that's fine. It just sort of annoyed me, and it came off as a pointless disagreement between heroic people, so I don't know. Pretty minor thing. What really annoyed me though is when we see Fury in the medical tent and he is hooked to an IV, but the IV is a plastic bag and not the glass bottles that should be used. So apparently the artist didn't know that plastic saline bags were not used during the war, and that really irritated me. I don't understand why exactly, it just did. But the artist is really talented. There's a lot of really cool shots in here, really good use of shading, some great perspective shots, especially with the creepy witch lady, and I am actually looking forward to reading issue 2. There's a few times where Cap's shield seems to change size, but that's fairly minor compared to that stupid IV bag that really annoyed me. But the werewolves looked awesome, and I was having a lot of fun reading this. It was a shockingly good Captain America adventure, and Howling Commandos. So hopefully this will at least maintain this level of quality, because this is some of the better stuff out of Marvel in a while, and I was real happy with it. The paper quality is complete dog crap though, so if you're hoping for a nice quality book because of the cover price being so high at $5, well, too bad, because they don't believe in giving you the bang for your buck. They just want to churn stuff out and do cash grabs. Well, shockingly, this one was actually pretty good, and I didn't mind paying for it. It's just garbage paper quality, so you might want to wait and get it in trade paperback where it'll be on nicer paper and still end up costing you about the same. But so far, I'm real interested in this, and it's looking like it might actually be a lot of fun. This issue was, so I'm going to recommend it. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Capwolf and the Howling Commandos Issue 2. This is a mini-series from Marvel Comics in 2023, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Carlos Magno, color art by Espen Grundet-Jern, letters by VC's Travis Lanham, cover by Ryan Brown, assistant editor Caitlin Linsvet, editor Alana Smith. Cover's really good, actually. I like that a lot. That would have got me to buy the book for sure. So we start off with the Germans and how they are getting injected with this serum that the this witch is helping them make. That is a little disturbing in parts, actually. It's pretty cool. And I'm real surprised that they put the swastikas where they were noticeable. They tend to hide that symbol a lot in comics for some reason. And then we jump over to the Howling Commandos, and Dum Dum is supposed to shoot Cap, but he can't really bring himself to do it. But don't worry, some crazy woman shows up and just starts blasting. And we find out who she is, and Cap starts talking to her, and she's shocked by that one. She tries to coin the phrase Capwolf, and Dum Dum's having none of that, thankfully. And we find out that this is, in fact, the Frankie that was mentioned earlier in issue 1 that is a spy working for the French resistance, apparently. Why she's in Germany, I'm not real clear on, but whatever. And Cap tries to send the Howling Commandos home because he realizes how dangerous this mission is, because they're going to be fighting an entire army of werewolves. And the Nazis know that Cap is coming, so they just inject everybody with this serum. So they're going to have a battalion of werewolves, apparently. But the Howling Commandos don't take orders from Captain America. Remember, they take orders from Sergeant Fury. So they're not going to have any of that. So it looks like a suicide mission, and we'll see how that plays out next issue. This mission is because they're going to be fighting an entire army of werewolves. And the Nazis know that Cap is coming, so they just inject everybody with this serum. So they're going to have a battalion of werewolves, apparently. But the Howling Commandos don't take orders from Captain America. Remember, they take orders from Sergeant Fury. So they're not going to have any of that. So it looks like a suicide mission, and we'll see how that plays out next issue. This mission is because they're going to be fighting an entire army of werewolves. And the Nazis know that Cap is coming, so they just inject everybody with this serum. So they're going to have a battalion of werewolves, apparently. But the Howling Commandos don't take orders from Captain America. Remember, they take orders from Sergeant Fury. So they're not going to have any of that. So it looks like a suicide mission, and we'll see how that plays out next issue. This mission is because they're going to be fighting an entire army of werewolves. And the Nazis know that Cap is coming, so they just inject everybody with this serum. So they're going to have a battalion of werewolves, apparently. But the Howling Commandos don't take orders from Captain America. Remember, they take orders from Sergeant Fury. So they're not going to have any of that. So it looks like a suicide mission, and we'll see how that plays out next issue. This mission is because they're going to be fighting an entire...
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Capwolf and the Howling Commandos issue 3. This is a mini-series from Marvel Comics that started in 2023, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Carlos Magno, color art by Espen Grunsteren, letters by VC's Travis Lanham, cover by Ryan Brown. Assistant editor was Caitlin Linsvet, edited by Alana Smith. Cover's cool, I really like that. It's got a real dynamic look to it with the evil witch lady. Now we do learn more about our witch lady and how she came to be working with the Germans, and it turns out the Russians tried to kill her a long time ago and they wiped out a bunch of her family. Meanwhile, Captain America is making his way toward the fortress with the Howling Commandos not too far behind, and they're making short work of the majority of the soldiers that they're encountering. Unfortunately, there's a large pack of werewolves waiting for them. So when Captain America comes across this witch lady, he turns down a proposition from her and is beset by a bunch of werewolves. There's a lot of action in this book, and we even see what's going on with Sergeant Fury, and we're left with a kind of a cliffhanger ending, and I'm excited to see where that goes. The art is pretty solid in here. There's some great use of shadows. There's a couple of rough panels, but I didn't really have a problem with the majority of the art that I saw. The werewolves look really, really cool, and the witch lady looks pretty good, especially when we see her in her other form, and it looks like we're gonna have a big werewolf showdown next issue. So a pretty interesting tale, not a great jumping on point, obviously, because this is a mini-series, but this has been a pretty solid story, and this issue really picks up the action. You don't have a whole lot of nonsense filtering it down, just a little bit of background on the evil witch lady, and then a bunch of explosions, gunplay, and werewolf fighting. So I was real happy about that, and I am looking forward to reading the next issue. So they actually made Capwolf an interesting concept here, much better than it was in the Sam Wilson story, which was really ludicrously silly. This one is actually actually fun. So I am going to recommend this. I had a really good time reading it, and so far the miniseries has been really solid. Paper quality is kind of garbage, so I would wait for the trade paperback and try and pick that up at a reasonable cost, because $4 each for these easily crinkled pages and thin cover material really just is not worth it. But it is a fun read, so I will recommend it. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Capwolf and the Howling Commandos issue 4. This is the final installment of the miniseries from Marvel Comics. Written by Stephanie Williams, art by Carlos Magno, color art by Espen Grundesjern, letters by VC's Travis Lanham, cover art by Ryan Brown. So the Commandos are really in a tight spot fighting off a big battalion of Nazis while Cap is fighting this werewolf lady. Frankie tries to blow stuff up, doesn't work out quite that well, and Dugan takes a round. There is a lot of action in this issue, and we do get to see Nick Fury join the group finally, and there is an allusion as to how Cap became a little bit more susceptible to becoming a werewolf that we saw in Volume 1, issues 402 through 408. So it does kind of tie in, because they hint at he might be subjected to lycanthropy again at some point in the future. It was a little bit forced and stilted, but it worked. Overall, I would have to say this was actually a pretty fun miniseries. It's not overly serious, it's just a lot of fun. I don't think they quite used Captain America as well as they could have. I think his effects on the outcome of the story were somewhat minimal, and it should have been a little bit more prevalent, but that's okay. Overall, I had a lot of fun reading this. Is it worth the cover price of $3.99? Not really, no. But if you pick it up cheap in trade paperback or grab these out of a $2 bin, I wouldn't be too upset about it. I think it would be pretty entertaining. The covers are fantastic too. I really like Ryan Brown's cover arts. So great cover, pretty solid interior art. The interior artist has a real good sense of shading. The color artist did an equally good job. Considering this is Marvel and I have very low expectations of them, I think overall it was a pretty decent package. Unfortunately, the paper quality is kind of garbage, so I would absolutely say get this in trade paperback or out of a discount bin. That is going to be the best way to read this. If you end up paying more than $2 an issue, I think you might end up feeling a little ripped off. But it is a pretty entertaining, mindless, fun story from the World War II era, and you get to see the Howling Commandos and Captain America working together, which is a bit tense early on, but in the end it all works out, and I thought it was actually one of the better books on the stand from Marvel in the last couple of years. So strong recommendation all around, except for the fact the paper quality sucks and the comics are overpriced. But it's definitely worth a read if you're a Captain America fan. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.